Coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine, the new way to appreciate history in the Poconos, exploring the world's largest general store with Bri Dee, a stop on the Pocono History and Art Trail, the women's clothing boutique with Big Heart.
Two of the key contributors to the Tricky Triangle throughout the years meet Nick and Ben in a Pocono Perspectives. Plus the pastry chef making a name for herself at Kalahari in a new Chefs of the Poconos. And the effort to develop housing for everyone who needs more front doors here in the Poconos.
Hello everyone, welcome to the April episode of Pocono Mountains Magazine. We're at the Tricky Triangle where all the NASCAR fun returns in June for the Great American Getaway 400, presented by Visit PA.
During race weekend here at Pocono Raceway, Long Pond becomes the third biggest city in Pennsylvania that weekend. You can get your race tickets at PoconoRaceway.com and come join all the fun.
Come on, man, we need to go.
Hey, is that Jim?
And what's he doing with Tricky?
What are they doing here?
Hey, Dee and Bri, are you going our way by chance? We need a ride to the racetrack.
Hop in.
All right, Tricky, let's go. And before we get to the finish line, just remember, you can travel and race across multiple locations in Monroe County this year to celebrate America's 250th birthday. Tricky, you excited? All right, girls, let's do this.
Vroom, vroom. Learn, scan, and score. It's all part of a new program giving you an appreciation for the history in Monroe County, whether you live in the Poconos or are visiting.
It was a very, very emotional day.
86-year-old Bob Huffman will never forget what happened in Middle Smithfield Township on June 26, 1964.
I was sleeping, and the next thing you know, I'm on the floor. Now I live 3 miles away, and it knocked me on the floor in my bedroom. And I wondered, what was that?
Bob, a member of the Marshalls Creek Fire Company, raced to the scene. He learned a truck carrying dynamite blew 2 tires and eventually exploded, killing 6 people, including 3 fellow volunteer firefighters.
It was just unbelievable. I mean, you just looked and you saw 3 fire trucks, and I said something to somebody. I said, this is awful.
The truck driver left the scene to get help, and his truck had no markings to indicate it was carrying explosives. The deadly blast made national news and changed federal safety regulations.
It really hurt the community really bad, because nothing like this happens at Marshalls Creek.
This historical marker on Route 209 honors the 6 lives lost. It's one of 18 historical markers in Monroe County. And now you can explore those noteworthy events through the Monroe County Historical Marker Passport Program.
What we're doing is a passport where you go around and you would get a passport stamped with the old type of passport, but now we have QR codes on all of them, so you just go scan it. And the goal is to get people to go visit the different sites.
It's part of America 250 PA, the Commonwealth's effort to engage all 67 counties in organizing events and initiatives to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Learn about the prehistoric mastodon skeleton unearthed by a peat farmer, the Stroudsburg man paid to take President Lincoln's place in the Union Army during the Civil War, and the local lawyer behind the controversial Palmer raids during the Red Scare.
We have a rich history here, and we want to make people aware of it.
Visit all 18 markers for your chance to win a $250 gift card, or check in at 12 sites to receive this print by local artist Frederick Beaver. One requirement, you'll have to visit the location it depicts, the old mill in Hamilton Township, a notable part of Sullivan's March in 1779 during the Revolutionary War.
And the purpose there was, under orders of General George Washington, to chastise the Iroquois and the British Tories for acts of harassing settlers on the frontier.
Mark Inzanka participates in historical reenactments, keeping history alive. He says General Sullivan's army marched through Monroe County and stopped for supplies at Brinker's Mill.
This is not the original mill. It was a log cabin type of structure back then. There was also a warehouse here in this location where they had stores for the soldiers laid out.
These are the 3 fire trucks.
Back in Middle Smithfield Township, Bob still goes back to 1964 and the explosion that changed his life. He says that night, his parents didn't wake him up when the initial call came in for a truck fire because he was up late at a scene the night before. Bob feels lucky to be alive and wants history to be forever marked in your heart as it is in his.
People had to drive here to see what was going on. I mean, the roads were packed, and I'll never forget the funeral. Never. Very, very sad.
The Historical Marker Passport program runs through 2026, and you're encouraged to explore the trail at your leisure. Visit mc250pa.org for more. I'm Brianna Strunk with the Pocono Television Network.
Get a taste of something sweet. Meet the pastry chef behind some of the best desserts in the Pocono Mountains in the latest Chefs of the Poconos.
Did you know the Poconos is home to the world's largest general store? Come take a look around with Bri Dee coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
More great stories on Pocono Mountains Magazine coming up. First, some PoconoTables from across the region.
We caught up with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission and dedicated volunteers trout stocking our Pocono waters, including the McMichael Creek in Scioto. Trout season is now underway, so get out and cast a line. Just don't forget your fishing license.
Hundreds of attendees turned out to the 3rd annual Pocono Short-Term Rental Conference at the beginning of March at Kalahari. The Poconos Association of Vacation Rental Owners, or Poconos VRO, hosted with a keynote, vendors, and sharing best practices. The event, a major success here in 2026.
Another successful ski season at Blue Mountain wrapped up with their annual pond skim, where 377 skiers and snowboarders tried their best to make it across the pond. The crowds came out in full force to cheer them on, turning the final day into a fun-filled, season-ending celebration.
We're going to do an oil painting class that's going to delve into a couple of techniques, wet-on-wet techniques that a certified Bob Ross instructor is going to teach you, and do a little in plein air, which is painting what you see.
Adult Art Camp is coming to Camp Onika at the end of May. WNEP-TV stopped by the historic summer camp in Pike County for a look at the event that brings adults out for a few days of painting and other activities. It's the first time for the Adult Art Camp here at Camp Onika.
The lush landscape of the Delaware Water Gap invites guests to explore the Pocono Mountains.
Known as the gateway to the Poconos, CBS Philadelphia enjoyed a day in Delaware Water Gap with stops at the beloved Village Farmer and Bakery, the country's oldest continuously operating jazz club, and hiking on the Appalachian Trail.
Members First and Pocono Raceway have partnered to recognize heroes in our communities. To nominate your hero, visit PoconoRaceway.com/hero, and they just might win exclusive VIP experiences at the Tricky Triangle and more.
My style is me, and I'm just very different. I don't like to veer too far off to the left where people are like, I don't even know how to pronounce that, so I'm not gonna eat it. But I also like people to be like, brown butter and honey? Never heard of that. And that reaction that people get when they try something they never heard of, and I put a lot of love into that. And it's just like, you made this? This is great. I love that. That's what I loved when I was young, making everyone's birthday cakes, and that's what I love till this day. I was born in Bogota, Colombia, and I was adopted. So once I came over here and was adopted, I grew up in Staten Island, New York for about the first 10 years of my life. And then my mother and I and my brother, we came up here, and we've been in the Poconos for probably the last 23 years. I first fell in love with baking and pastry. The youngest age I can think, probably like 4 or 5. It's in my blood, I feel like. My family's cultures are so integrated in food. My father being Italian and my mother being Puerto Rican, there was food everywhere. I was drawn to it, whether I was at home or whether it was on TV. Everyone watched Ace of Cakes at that time and wanted to be the cake boss, and I wanted to be like a Jacques Therese of chocolate world and pastry world. And I knew early on I was either gonna be a pastry chef or I was gonna be a veterinarian. And I knew how long you had to go to school to be a veterinarian, so I went to school for pastry. And it became my safe space. It has become everything. I've been a part of Kalahari for 10 years. I've learned the business inside and out. We have I don't want to say very strict, but there are ways that we need to make sure that things are done and completed for production and for our signature outlets, desserts, breads. Having a good, strong communication in your team is what helps us get by every day. In my bakery, leadership is being side by side with them, working with them, not just leaving them to hang. We're going through this together. You know, we're gonna work through whatever we got. We've been through a lot of adjustments, and I'm proud of what we have. So the espresso creme brulee crackling cream puff. Flour, water, butter, a little bit of sugar, and eggs. That's literally it. Anybody can do it. You can pipe them into any shape. You want rings, you want circles, but for my cream puffs, I pipe into nice large cream puffs. And we put this beautiful ice cold crackling on top. And the crackling just adds a little bit of crunch. It's just butter, flour, and sugar, and that's it. Obviously, to make a coffee, I put espresso powder in the crackling, which I almost forgot. But once those are ready to get baked, we throw them in our convection oven with lots of fans to get them nice and big and fluffy and beautiful. Once they're cooled, we fill with our homemade pastry cream. I put some granulated sugar on top, and then I torch it to get like the caramelized sugar, and it's ready to go. The garlic rosemary Asiago bread is a staple bread here, but it's actually what made me kind of fall back in love with bread. It was probably my least favorite in school was bread, but when you smell fresh baked bread coming out of the oven every day, you just fall in love with it. We have a beautiful poolish that we make every day, which is our activator. We got some fresh, hard Asiago cheese. We roast our garlic here, and then we cut our rosemary for that bread here fresh. So when I make this, it's just, the aromas are everywhere and everyone gets excited and knows 3 o'clock, bread's coming out of the oven. The brown butter honey bonbons, another chocolate piece that I love to work on. I love making fresh truffles. We don't always usually get to have the chance to do it, but when we do, I always like to make sure that the filling is something no one's ever heard of. Brown butter, I love brown butter, super simple. It was probably like my go-to meal in college was just brown butter and pasta. So I put brown butter in everything in my bakery, whether it be carrot cake or truffles or ganache or cookies, it's everywhere. You have to trial and error, you have to test out. It's a lot of math involved in pastry. As far as science as well, it's a lot of recipe formatting, it's a lot of R&D testing, and it takes a lot to be able to perfect a recipe, especially if you're building it from the ground up. And so I decided to put it into a regular chocolate ganache that we have with a little bit of honey as well. And then the nuttiness of the butter and the sweetness from the honey and the bitterness from the chocolate is just a perfect combination in one bite. Always providing for my family definitely drives me, but for my daughter to see her have so much fun, especially when she comes here and sees me at work, like, look at Mom, look at your cakes, look at this and look at that. And like, she thinks she can get all her little specialty cakes, but like, just seeing her excitement and seeing that like what my mom does is really cool. Like, I love that. And going upstairs to see the cases of all the cupcakes and everything we produce, and the kids just, wow, that's so cool, or Mom, that's so great. And like, I get to do that every day, right? Like the satisfaction of in the bakery and we've completed a dessert, we've got these flavor combos together. We got the new seasonal cupcake out. Like, this worked. Like, we put some time into it and it came out and it's beautiful. And it gives the team such great morale. It just boosts everyone. And it's like, wow, like anybody can do this. You just really gotta try, do the work. So when I make my chocolate showpieces, there's a few very important details that I always stick by. A nice cold tempered chocolate room, good chocolate to be tempered by. But for in-room amenities like the one I made, something very simple, very elegant and smooth, clean lines. It's just a simple swoop made with some beautiful 60% tempered chocolate. Along with the showpiece, I do make balloon baskets that hold the truffles and the macaroons inside. It's just the balloon blown up, and I take some tempered chocolate and I just make a back and forth motion up and down until I get a beautiful basket, and it just holds everything that you need. So that gets attached to the showpiece. We do a little bit decor, a little bit of painting, and then it's ready to go. I'll always remember the day I got my first baking pan from my grandmother. When you got these big brown boxes delivered to the house, you knew it was stuff good from grandma. And I had to get ready for school. I was on my way out and there was a big brown box at the door, and it was a baking pan. It was a beautiful, that I know now, a 9-inch baking pan, and a couple boxes of Betty Crocker cake mix and a couple cookbooks that my grandmother sent me. And I wanted to stay home and I wanted to make cakes. It was so great to have encouragement. So that was just really like, you know what? She believes in me and I'm gonna believe in myself. And the meaning of life, to me personally, to be happy doing what you love, no matter what it is, whether it be work, your family, your anything, be happy. Like, you get one life, and as cliche as it sounds, you really do have to make the best. And you can't have success without having a little bit of failure, without having something go wrong. It's about learning constantly. And I knew that I wanted to make a difference with my desserts. I wanted to make myself proud as well and be like, you can do it. And I've been dealt a lot of hard cards, but it was all worth it.
April showers bring May flowers, and if you're looking for some indoor fun, we know just the perfect place.
Come along with us as we follow the yellow brick road into the world's largest general store. Each piece of art tells a story. Come take a look inside Morgan Gallery, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine. Discover the craft and dedication that go into turning sap to syrup. Explore the day-to-day of maple season and meet the person at the heart of it all. Coming up later with Behind the Maker.
This edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine is presented by St. Luke's Monroe Campus and East Stroudsburg University.
Welcome to Country Junction, the world's largest general store. Hey everyone, it's Bri.
And Dee, if you're looking for indoor fun, especially on a cold or rainy day, we know just the perfect place.
All you have to do is start out by following the yellow brick road.
Welcome to Country Junction, the world's largest general store. We're located in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. Country Junction is the best place for family fun. We're a little bit of everything. Our shopping is an experience, that's what it is. We're not your typical store where you're walking aisles looking for one specific thing. We're based off the Wizard of Oz, and we have a yellow brick road that will lead you through our store. You never know what you're gonna see because we're constantly changing it out. We have all the country jarred foods, and it goes from there to a bakery, to a wine shop. We sell dogs, we have fish, lizards, you name it, we could probably get it for you. We pretty much have a full pet supply department. Along with our pet store, we also have an incredible petting zoo. That's pretty much our draw, and we're always trying to add new animals. We had started our arcade a little bit before COVID hit, as we're trying to get more entertainment, more things to do for families with kids.
You ready for this?
I don't know, but let's do it.
Our bumper cars are the new flip zone bumper cars. So not only do you bump, but you can flip upside down, you go side to side, it spins. It's a really, really incredible ride. We also have tons of events that we hold here, and I highly recommend that if you come during an event weekend, you will not be disappointed. Our huge season is obviously our Oktoberfest with the pumpkins, a must come to see. In the summer, we have carnival rides. So we're always running wristband specials where you can bring your kids up. Our roots run very deep. My father started the store back in 1984. He started as pretty much an installed insulation company. And as customers kept asking for more and more, he kept bringing it in until we got to be the world's largest general store. Our store is open 7 days a week, and we're open all year round. We hit every season imaginable. I see lots of people that bring their grandkids that say they were here as kids, and they just keep wanting to come back. We're definitely trying to gear more towards the family and a place to go. Everybody can shop online now, but not everybody can see what we have here at the store. I love the animals. I love watching kids have fun in the arcade. I love shopping on the Yellow Brick Road personally, but the events really have my heart because it just brings so many different things together. It makes people happy, and as long as I can see smiles anywhere I go, that's a real reward for me as being the next generation owner.
What a blast today. Whether you're bringing the kids, meeting a friend, or just looking for something fun to do indoors, Country Junction has a little bit of something for everyone.
No matter what the weather brings or what time of year you visit. And I think we should take one of those puppies home.
Okay, I'll babysit.
So cute. Cheers.
We're Bri and Dee with the Pocono Television Network. Exploring the Pocono history and art trail can lead to incredible discoveries, and today it's brought us here to the Morgan Gallery. This gallery showcases talented artists and gives visitors a chance to experience art up close. I spoke with owner James Morgan about how it all started and the story behind what's now the oldest commercial art gallery in the Poconos.
Well, my dad was an art and drama critic, so I sort of grew up in the arts. And when I decided to make a career change, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I was walking through a gallery in New Hope and the light bulb went on. So here I am since 1989, working with these wonderful artists we have in the Pocono region.
James found the perfect place to bring his vision to life, right here in Blakeslee. Today the gallery stands out for the way it supports artists and showcases their work. So I asked, what makes it unique from others?
This is a commercial gallery where the art is here based on the merit of the art. There's no fee to the artist other than a commission when the piece is sold. And that's the difference between this gallery and not all, but a lot of other galleries.
With decades of experience, James has developed a strong eye for selecting artists and pieces that truly connect with visitors. For many local and regional artists, having a space like this makes all the difference.
Well, the artists need a place to show their work. It's so important. And there are not a lot of venues for them to do that. A lot of people still want to actually physically see the piece before they buy it, so they come to a gallery like this. I try to make sure that there's something here that will please somebody when they come in. So you'll see that there are a lot of different styles, different media, And there's over 200 pieces here, so there's a lot to look at, and over 30 artists, so it's worth a visit.
And while online platforms are helpful, nothing compares to seeing art up close.
There's something about seeing the original piece. The screen that you're looking at is a different medium. It's not a canvas. So when they come in and see the actual piece of art, it's a different experience. Having been here so long, I think is also a statement about the confidence the art community has in the gallery, which is certainly very important.
There's a wide variety of pieces here, but many are inspired by the natural beauty of the Poconos.
The nature we have here is strictly unbelievable. There are so many beautiful scenes to take enjoyment from. I like to do it with my work, especially with scenes with water, which we have plenty of. When people come in here looking for art, they often want to know, well, is that a Pocono scene? They want it for their home here, or perhaps their other residence, because oftentimes it's somebody who has a second home here. So it is important to have the local character represented here in the art.
The gallery's reputation continues to attract talented artists like Lisa Hannick. I spoke with her about what it's meant to showcase her work here for over the past 15 years and how it's supported her career.
The fact that people can come in here and see in person the paintings. There's a lot of distortion when you're working with any kind of photographs, or especially on social media. You will not get the accurate colors of the painting. You will not get an idea of the size of the painting. And so coming here personally is just very, very advantageous.
For Lisa, art has been a lifelong passion, one that started at a very young age.
I started really as a small child. I was probably about 5 years old. I remember making clay sculptures in like some kind of assignment that we had, and having them, the teacher displaying them in the showcase in school, and I was just like, I was hooked from the get-go.
Now, seeing her art displayed in a gallery brings that journey full circle. Her paintings are known for their detail and technique, like this piece.
The whole idea of setting that painting up was just to draw the viewer in right to the focal point, not to have too much fuss going on in the background or in the foreground, just to draw your eye right to it. As you get more and more to the focal point, especially white flowers like that with the petals and stuff, I start to work with a palette knife. So I'll just kind of slather the paint on real nice and heavy and get it very textural.
From the artists to the atmosphere, Morgan Gallery offers a unique and inspiring experience for anyone visiting the Poconos. Whether you're an art enthusiast or simply exploring the area, this is definitely a stop worth making. And if you're following our Pocono history and art trail, places like this add depth to your experience. I'm Deanna Fontanez with the Pocono Television Network.
From the fashion industry to a fashion boutique, we'll head inside, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
Something sweet made right here in the Pocono Mountains, coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine. It's running rough.
Smoke, we didn't see that. What's this? No idea. Percolator.
Where'd you get this, mechanic?
You'll make it happen. Yeah, a deck of cards, could always use those. She's gonna run like a top.
If you want to see the pros do this, come to Pocono Raceway, June 12th through the 14th. Tickets available at PoconoRaceway.com.
Hey everyone, it's Brianna Strunk. We're on Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg, one of our walkable downtowns here in the Pocono Mountains, where you can dine, drink, relax, and go shopping. Welcome to Dot+Jo Boutique, where every stitch is symbolic of Heather Williams' story. She personally sources every piece of women's clothing, all the jewelry and accessories, fitting every size, style, and age. You'll even find prom gowns in the back, the space transitioning to evening wear following prom season.
So it's a little bit of everything. Things that I like, Things I think other people like because you're seeing it all over social media or whatever, like the latest trend. But I just try and make it fun and, you know, interesting and affordable.
Long before opening Dot+Jo in her 50s, Heather was bit by the fashion bug at a young age.
From the very beginning, my mom was everything about fashion. She, as a young person, would make clothes for the neighborhood women. She made her prom gown, she made my prom gowns. She made my bridesmaids' gowns. She even dabbled in outdoor markets. She would sell clothing. My grandmother would always come. So I guess she passed it down to me.
Heather went to college for textile design in Philadelphia, then moved to New York City, where she worked for 2 designers.
First a small one, and then a second designer was Ralph Lauren, and I was the yarn buyer. So people laugh when I say that because there is someone that actually buys all the yarn for the women's sweaters.
Once Heather married her husband, Phil, the couple relocated to the Poconos and grew their family. She dreamed of opening her own boutique and in 2024 planted roots on Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg.
It's just a cute little street and I knew this is where I wanted to be for sure.
The boutique offers a chic space for private events like meetings, paint and sips, and pop-ups. Heather is passionate about carrying products from other female-owned small businesses, from candles and mixers to skincare and maple syrup from Pocono Mountains Maple. Even my new Poconos sweater is from a woman-led company.
I would say 75–80% of even the clothing in here is women-owned companies. I sort of look for that.
Her 3 daughters are part of the business, helping with social media and watching trends. Heather's husband, an entrepreneur himself, even has his line of on-the-go men's skincare and grooming products at Dot+Jo.
Usually when I'm here in the store on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, there's usually a guy that's sitting on the couch out in front. Wife's kind of perusing around doing some shopping, and I kind of give him the nudge like, hey, come on back. You know, we get right into talking about skincare and beauty, and then once they start smelling the products, they're like, wow, yeah. That's actually led to a lot of great conversations, meeting a lot of people locally.
Heather doesn't just carefully curate her clothes, she also took special care in coming up with the name of her business, which honors her late grandmother and mom, Gail, who passed away from cancer in 2021.
Dot is polka dots. My mom loved polka dots. And Jo was Josephine, my grandmother, so it's named after them.
Because for Heather, her dream was realized thanks to strong women, their legacy being carried on by the next.
I think they're happy and proud. That's what everyone tells me.
A boutique built by women, for women. I'm Brianna Strunk with the Pocono Television Network.
Welcome to Behind the Maker, where together we'll explore stories of the people behind some of the amazing things created right here in the Pocono Mountains. Join me as we take a step behind the scenes to meet the makers who pour their hearts into what they do. Today we're sitting with Cody Yednek, owner and maple producer at Streamside Maple in Greentown.
I actually fell into it, actually started a job, built a maple operation for somebody, and later on I decided I should do this for myself.
But once he got into it, it became a real passion.
So we've been operating here for 5 years. I've been making it for 12. You gotta rely on Mother Nature a lot, and then you have to constantly maintain everything throughout the whole season, which is only a 6-week season.
He has to be ready. It all starts with the weather.
So you need a freeze-thaw cycle to actually happen. So when the sap freezes in the roots, it pressurizes the tree, and then when it thaws out, it pushes that sap to the top of the canopy, and that's what gives the nutrients to the tree.
All that sap is collected efficiently.
We use a monitoring tubing system, again, 3,000 trees. That'd be a lot of buckets to go collect. So everything actually comes right to us. Everything gathers in a tank located at the bottom of the property, and then pumps up to us here. We actually run a high vacuum system. When we get those freeze-thaw cycles to happen, that's when you collect the sap. The sap then gathers in one central location and then begins the process. From there, we run it through what's called a reverse osmosis machine. That machine actually separates the water and sugar by just using high pressure pumps and massive filters. From there, we can take that sugar that's, say, coming in at 2%, we can jump it up to 20% without ever boiling it. And from there, we then put it into the evaporator, and that's when the caramelization happens of the syrup. Syrup becomes syrup when it retains a heat of 219 degrees. So that's all we're doing. Again, we're just boiling it until we remove enough of the water to have enough sugar to retain that heat.
And from there, deliciousness is created. Best part is, during maple season, you can actually be part of the self-guided maple tour, where you can visit different sugar houses all across the region and see how each one does it a little differently.
Usually the first week of March, we open up our sugar house doors and invite everybody in to come and see how the process is done. A lot of people actually never had real maple syrup, and they try it for the first time and they love it. So that's kind of rewarding.
It's a chance to experience maple season firsthand in the Poconos and take home local products to enjoy all year long.
Thank you to Cody for sharing his story and giving us an inside look on what it takes to process something so delicious here at Streamside Maple. It's always amazing to see the heart and soul that goes into the craft of creating something unique right here in the Pocono Mountains. I'm Deanna Fontanez with the Pocono Television Network.
We all know Jim Thorpe and the rest of the Poconos are lovely to visit, but a lot of folks call this home. So we'll find out coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine how places like this historic building in Jim Thorpe are being used for senior housing and the effort to create more front doors all across the Poconos.
At East Stroudsburg University, you will study with cutting-edge technology. You can perform in the classroom, field, or stage. You'll get involved on campus and off. You can have fun preparing for your future.
Pocono Television Network is everywhere you are, including broadcast, cable, and streaming. Download the free PTN app on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and iPhone, Android, Google, and smart TVs. Or rescan and get the PTN digital signal in Philly, Harrisburg, Baltimore, and Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. Or if you're on cable, PTN is on Blue Ridge, Service Electric, and more, where you can watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, anytime at PoconoTelevision.com. Hi everyone, it's Jim Hamill, and we are here in downtown Jim Thorpe, which is the seat of county government as well as a hub for tourism. Across the street from the Visitor Center and train station is this historic building here, the Lehigh Coal and Navigation Building, which is now senior housing. And it's one example of many ways they're trying to create more front doors here in the Poconos and all across Pennsylvania. 2 entire centuries ago, it was coal that built up mock junk. Nowadays, it's Jim Thorpe, Carbon County. The company that drove that industry, Lehigh Coal and Navigation, headquartered in this lasting testament to history. And now a prime example of a concept called adaptive reuse.
It's very affordable.
Portia and dozens of others call this home now. In the 1970s, the Lehigh Coal and Navigation building was converted into senior housing. And as she tells it, it's not easy to find anything like it around here.
It's very hard. It's very hard. When I first started, there was a long line for every place. Usually, other places are 5-year waiting lists. This one here was the shortest list.
In order to preserve this historic property as senior housing, enter United Neighborhood Centers. Based in Scranton, the organization has created more than a dozen properties like this regionally, providing 400 units of affordable housing.
We recognized that there was a need for new construction of affordable housing. We are the only nonprofit developer in the region doing this sort of work, so we know how important it is.
Joy and the folks at UNC were able to get critical funding for the major rehab project here in Jim Thorpe, and by 2018, the Lehigh Coal and Navigation building was brought up to current day standards. HVAC, mechanical, electrical, a complete overhaul.
We started having those conversations with the right people to say, okay, what can we do to get this building back to where it needs to be, so that not only the existing tenants have that quality, safe, affordable housing, but just the community in general.
Conversations like more front doors. The PMVB and United Way brought hundreds together to tackle the housing crisis in the region back in November 2024 at Kalahari. The Secretary of Community and Economic Development even spoke to the broader issue across the state.
Economic and community development, housing, these are team sports.
And fast forward to March 2026, another More Front Doors, this one more focused on Carbon County, hosted by the United Way of the Greater Lehigh Valley, Reimagine Carbon, and the group formed from the first More Front Doors, community development of the Poconos.
Effectively, the American dream is you invest in your children, they go to school, whatever the case may be. There's a whole lot of things that get in the way with that. But when the first part is you're spending over half of your income, and yes, a lot of people, dual income families, are spending more than half of their income on housing, that leaves very, very little for them to be able to afford the other necessities, let alone the things that we consider for disposable income.
That's why the More Front Doors for Carbon County included local government, the AARP, and many others, including economic development leaders like Jared Soto.
Housing is economic development. So just like an example, like we could bring in as much industry as we want, and we could create and have hey, there's jobs that are here, but if we don't have the infrastructure to allow people to be able to afford at the places they live, closest to the places they work, they'll look for opportunities elsewhere.
This was also a byproduct of the senior housing project in downtown Jim Thorpe. Some residents have moved here from single-family homes elsewhere in the area, freeing up those homes to first-time homebuyers. More of that kind of big thinking about projects in a holistic sense is where United Neighborhood Centers is focusing its attention on all the time.
Because there's such a housing need, we at United Neighborhood Centers and United Neighborhood Community Development Corporation, we are always in pre-development with a project, working with community partners and different townships and boroughs to find what's going to make sense for that community. So like in Honesdale, we will be applying for funding, we will be securing what we need so we can put a shovel in the ground to get these new housing units built and into the portfolio for the region.
The Timber Mill project is slowly but surely moving toward funding, then approval, and then construction. It would add 42 new units for folks looking for homes here in Honesdale, fitting into the neighborhood and doing what these like-minded groups and organizations have set out to do: create more front doors.
Between the costs of preparing land and everything else, it's really difficult to build a new home for less than $330,000. But an existing home might be available for $200,000 or maybe even less. Now, it may not have the newest dishwasher or things like that. Where do we find these houses? Oftentimes, it's people who've called this home for a generation or two. If we can find housing for seniors, that frees up first-time home buyer opportunities for people who are starting out their new careers in the businesses here in Carbon County.
A lot of work does go into the building of affordable housing in the region. It could take several years to get a project up and running. Some challenges that we're presented with may be on the local level, zoning, infrastructure needs. Certainly in some of the more rural areas we see that. And that could delay a project or it can kill a project. Fortunately, we have a lot of really great communities in this region that are supportive of affordable housing being constructed.
To learn more about the real solutions at hand for solving the housing crisis in the Poconos, you can learn more at cdpoconos.org. This has been Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network. Still to come on Pocono Mountains Magazine, a sit-down with Nick and Ben from Pocono Raceway. Get their Pocono perspectives with Chris Barrett.
Did you know that every year our nation's hospitals are graded on quality and safety? Did you know this information is publicly available? Did you know that St. Luke's has earned 5 stars for quality and straight A's for safety? St. Luke's is the only PA-based health system and only 1 in 3 health systems in the nation to earn these outstanding recognitions. St. Luke's, the only locally based healthcare network serving as a model for the nation.
Nick Godolsky, CEO of Pocono Raceway. Why is a racetrack located in Long Pond, PA?
Well, the short answer is real estate was cheap. The more detailed answer is they need a lot of space. You need it away from metropolitan areas to an extent so you don't affect noise those areas and the expansion of those city limits. So there was a group that found this piece of land. There was a great need for racing in the Northeast, big track racing in the Northeast. Little track racing was very popular, so there was a void to be filled, and this group got together and found this tract of land in Long Pond. It used to be a spinach farm. Their initial goal,
right? Is that what that was?
Their initial goal was to develop it into a road course specific, like a Watkins Glen or a Lime Rock, were the most popular Northeast tracks at the time. And that's kind of where the future of the track really came down to Doc and Mr. Montgomery. So Doc and Rose, not knowing anything of racing, they were just land investors in the time, started to learn more on their own. They met two very influential families, the Holman family and the France family. And the Holman family founded Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the IndyCar Series, and the France family, NASCAR, and all the tracks that they own together. So they both gave Doc and Rose the same advice. They said, build the big track. You can always build your road course inside. And that upset the original group, and Doc really didn't care and kind of went after it.
We hear so much about Doc and Rose Mattioli. Can you talk about them a little? I was very fortunate to have met Rose Mattioli, but can you give us a little bit on who they were and when they took over, why they took over and what they did?
Rose was a podiatrist, Doc was a dentist. He World War II, GI Bill, went to medical school, Temple. She was Temple Podiatry. They kind of met there and fell in love. Rose, with a one-year-old, finished the top of her class in podiatry school. So they're both very intelligent, very highly motivated people coming out of the Depression era. He was into real estate. He had helped build some golf courses in Philadelphia. He built some local developments here, helped build Camelback when it originally started, Timber Hill. Currently, we are the only family-owned and operated facility. There are privately held facilities, but none of them are family-owned and operated.
And the family's obviously still very heavily involved from day to day.
Some of them.
Ben May, I got to bring you in. And Ben May's president of Pocono Raceway. When I was getting ready for this, somebody said to me, "Did you know Evel Knievel was at Pocono Raceway?" And if you grew up at a certain time period, Evel Knievel was. Can you talk a little bit about who's been at Pocono Raceway? Then we'll get into racing a little bit more.
Yeah, so since you've spent some time in our media center, that back wall in there, I think does a, Nick's vision of really just laying out the history of Pocono as it's gone. It's been really cool to see, right? I mean, you've seen, you got Evel Knievel, right? The Jackson 5 played at Pocono. The Jaws of Life was tested. The prototype was tested at Pocono. Wow. So you've really just got this interesting history. And then also when you think about elite race car drivers, right? I mean, Mario Andretti has raced at Pocono. Richard Petty, AJ Foyt, right? There's just these names that are, synonymous with speed. And all that's happened. And I think that's, to me, that's all. It's never lost on me, right? It's really special that there's this history, right, in the Poconos, in our backyard, right, 100 feet behind my office, where some of the greatest drivers in the world have got behind the wheel. It's really spectacular.
I looked the first race. Now this is on Wikipedia, so give me a second. But June 19th, 1971.
June 19th, 1971 was a ribbon cutting when the big track was finally open to the public.
And when the big track was open, what was the first race? Do you recall that?
Schaefer 500.
Yeah.
Schaefer 500, which was a USAC IndyCar race back then.
But it was an IndyCar race.
Yeah, IndyCars. These are old school. Mario Andretti, Rutherford, Foyt, those Unsers, those kind of guys were racing in the first ones.
Wow. So PTN has been very fortunate to interview some drivers in the last couple of years. And one of the things they always say is that this is their favorite track. And this is their favorite place to be. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've heard that, Ben, many times, right?
Well, you hear it in a variety of ways, right? Some of the guys and girls like to come here with their families, right? They'll stay at Kalahari, they'll do the outdoors, obviously a lot of NASCAR drivers, big outdoorsmen and women, right? Fishing, hiking, all that kind of stuff. So this area sets up nicely. And also, when you sit in our grandstands and you just look out over the horizon, it's so serene and it's so beautiful, right? You just see all the greenery, the mountains. And I think it's very different for them, right, as racers who are going 36, 38 weeks a year, boom, 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 to cities, Indianapolis's, Daytona's. When they come here, it's just laid back. I mean, we have a different quality of life here in Northeast PA than they normally live. So I think a lot of it is that. And they're race car drivers. They like a challenge, right? Pocono's hard, right? We don't call it the tricky triangle for nothing, So, and they're only seeing it once a year. So to come up, whether you're a veteran or a younger person, you haven't seen the place, in a year. So it's a challenge, It's like sports, right? You want to be a little bit competitive. You want to make it a little bit hard. If it was all easy, it wouldn't be so much fun.
And Nick, what a triangle? Why is that challenging versus the other tracks?
So none of the other tracks are shaped like that. So it creates some geometry that the engineers and the drivers aren't used to. And to expand on what Ben was saying, it's a track. The reason it has a moniker of the tricky triangle is the turns are all different radiuses, but also different bankings. Turn 1 is modeled after Trenton Speedway, which is closed. Turn 2 is modeled after Indianapolis. The track was originally designed by a gentleman named Roger Ward, who's a former IndyCar champion, Indy 500 champion. And turn 3 is modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. So all 3 corners are from completely different tracks, different banking angles, and different radiuses. So it creates a unique engineering setup for these cars, and a driver can maybe get the feel of one of those corners, but it's very rare to get the driver to feel correct in all the corners and the car to respond well in all the corners because of the geometry difference.
When it was built in the 70s, cars were so much different, right? So is the design of cars today running on that track? So what's the biggest difference?
Going back to a comment I made earlier about the track being for the big cars, and the France family and Holland family say build the big tracks. They saw that IndyCar and NASCAR were going to be the premier series in the country, and for those series to really put on the best show, you needed bigger tracks. And the road courses can go inside, and we did that. We had 3 main road courses in the interior, and just 10 years ago, we redesigned the interior and increased our capacity. And now we have over 40 configurations of road courses that can be run any day, anytime.
Ben and Nick are 2 of the major players here at Pocono Raceway, of many who make it such a special place right here in the Poconos. From the roar of those NASCAR engines right here on the Tricky Triangle to all the history we celebrate this year in 2026.
And whether you come for the race or just to explore the region, there's plenty of action on and off the track.
We'll see you here in June for the Great American Getaway 400 presented by Visit PA. Get your tickets at PoconoRaceway.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next month.